Welcome to Titans and Trailblazers, a Pan-African program that seeks to explore the lives of people who are making a difference and have made a difference. I'm Professor Robert Eboinson, and today we'll bring you a very stimulating discussion with a guest I've known for a very long time. So please, don't go anywhere. We'll be right back.
Whether you're a wholesaler, retailer, or consumer, MNC Logistics and Trading is your trusted partner in minerals and food commodities trading. Experience the difference with MNC Logistics and Trading for your commodities trading. We operate a well-equipped laboratory that smelts and assays gold to ensure transparent, credible, and reliable minerals transactions. Our general food commodity market deals with imports and exports of food products such as rice, sugar, and grains. We pride ourselves on delivering products that meet the highest standards of quality and taste. With our expertise in international trading and logistics, we bridge customers far and wide. Locate us at number 4 Neosai Interfo Avenue, East Legon, Accra. Call us on 030-299-8246 or visit our website www.mnclogisticsandtrading.com. MNC Logistics and Trading, hub of confidence.
MNC Group is a leading investment holding company with expertise in minerals and food commodity trading, precious minerals refinery, real estate development, and logistics and energy. With individually registered companies, our headquarters is located in Accra, Ghana, with operational offices in Dubai, UAE, Hong Kong, and Guangzhou in China, Johannesburg in South Africa, Virginia in the USA, and Milan, Italy. We connect business markets and drive growth. Trust us to maximize value in every deal. Call us on 0302-551-917 or 0302-551-918 or send us an email mncgroup@mncgroupgh.com. MNC Group, totally reliant.
Welcome back to Titans and Trailblazers, and today I have the singular honor of introducing you to one of our many edited books. This one is entitled Small Business and Entrepreneurial Development in Africa, A Route to Sustained Economic Development. I remember when we put out the teasers out on social media, on Facebook and LinkedIn, we got a lot of excellent reviews around, this will be good, this will be stimulating. Now the book is here, and trust me, the book does not disappoint at all. Now let me tell you why this book is so fascinating. Now, after working on maybe 35 edited books, I can tell you that for a good edited book, there are 3 elements you must look out for, especially one written in an African context. First is a great structure. So for a good edited book, there should be a theme which has a sub-parts which interlock seamlessly. So great structure. 2, the book should have great relevance. For edited books that focus on Africa, what I look out for is, when the book is done, what clear recommendations can the book make for moving Africa's economic and developmental agenda forward? This book responds magnificently to that one as well. 3, you must have great authors. Authors with a good writing track record, who put out work that is theoretically sound, that has great methods, and that present arguments that are cohesive and convincing at the end of the day. This book responds to all 3. So what's this book about? This book is about entrepreneurship, and why entrepreneurship is so crucial to the development of Africa. In the introductory chapter, we start by looking at certain definitions of entrepreneurship, and we say things like, there's a common theme that runs through all the various discussions we used as an introduction to the book: job creation, innovation, and the coordination of scarce resources. Now, what we say in this book is that entrepreneurship is influencing Africa's development in a significant way by generating new economic opportunities, fostering innovation, and enabling local communities to fight against poverty and inequality. Though Africa may not be there yet, entrepreneurship has opened up Africa's economy through the creation of jobs, establishment of industries, and stimulating economic growth in Africa. We have the Aliko Dangotes in Nigeria, we have the Tobingos in Ghana, the Sawa Japons, we have the Indums, we have the Dufours, and so on and so forth. So Africa has a good lineup of people who are contributing to the entrepreneurial effort. Now, my own personal favorite scripture about entrepreneurship, and the scripture that for me defines why entrepreneurship is so crucial to any type of economic endeavor, is from Ephesians 5:16 from the Amplified. It says that we are supposed to make the most of our time on earth, recognizing and taking advantage of each opportunity God gives us and using it with wisdom and intelligence. So entrepreneurs are tasked to take advantage of each opportunity they find, recognize it first, and take advantage and use those opportunities with wisdom and diligence. So back to the book. So after the introductory discussions we have to set the tone for why entrepreneurship matters and to explain why entrepreneurship is a game changer for Africa, the second part of the book deals with issues around entrepreneurial intentions and customer management issues. Now, the reason why we singled out customer management is that we found anecdotally and through a lot of good research that entrepreneurial enterprises, no matter how good intention they are, no matter how they want to succeed, issues around customer management, service excellence, customer experience is still a very problematic matter across several entrepreneurial firms in Africa. That's why that second part focuses on that as well. The part 3 looks at local and international perspectives when it comes to entrepreneurial development in Africa, because small business growth is not just local. So we needed to understand how international entrepreneurship works also from an African context. The part 4 looks at technology and entrepreneurial development, because the world in which we live today is technology-led. So we had to have a focus around that as well. So for the authors who put pen to paper or typed the words that form this book, we had authors from Europe, from North America, from Ghana, from South Africa, from Europe. We have authors like Dr. Judith Ochinawa, who is at the University of Lincoln. We have Dr. Nonso Ochinawata, who has a PhD from Sheffield Hallam University. From South Africa, we have the entrepreneurship behemoth Professor Patience Rambe, who works at the Central University of Technology. From the US, you have one of my own academic sons, Professor Henry Boateng, who is the Director of Institutional Research at the Diovo University College in the US. From Ghana, we have people like Dr. Gloria Jepong from the University of Cape Coast Business School. We have Dr. John Paul Kosiba, who is the Deputy Director of Research at the University of Professional Studies. So we have a good lineup for the book. So what do we discuss in the book? Now, when you take the entrepreneurial intentions in the initial parts of the book, we try to understand entrepreneurial intentions in relation to final year students in an academic setting, because sometimes the sense is that you must go to school, finish a university in Ghana, and then go and look for a job by submitting a CV somewhere. So in looking at entrepreneurial intention matters, Gloria Jepong and Kojo Chum argue compellingly that entrepreneurial education matters, and we need to find a way of crafting it and sort of inculcating it and making it available to university students, whether it's through long courses, short courses, but we must begin to train student minds in a certain practical, context-aware manner, that their mindsets should pivot towards starting their own businesses and not necessarily going to work for someone. When it comes to the customer management issues, Professor Kwame Adom looks at issues around customer experience, customer service, and makes the clear claim in his chapter that if you don't serve your customers well, your entrepreneurial business will not survive. So he makes a case for the introduction of customer-centric strategies in entrepreneurial enterprise, not just in Ghana, but across Africa. Now, in relation to the section that looks at local and international perspectives on enterprise growth, what we tried to do was some sort of qualitative assessment of informal businesses from a Ghanaian perspective, but also we tried to understand how that viewpoint or that entrepreneurial bent works in the context of social entrepreneurship. The authors argue, as part of one of the chapters in that section, that social enterprises in Ghana can tackle local problems, sometimes in ways that governments and NGOs even cannot. So there's a clear space for social enterprise from a Ghanaian context. Then when it comes to international joint ventures, the authors emphasize the importance of strategic collaborations for Ghanaian enterprises looking to become global enterprises, both in terms of collaborating to deliver services in Ghana and collaborating with these enterprises to deliver service in international context as well. Now, this is particularly relevant in the context of this new African Continental Free Trade Area. Now, when it comes to the technology and entrepreneurial development section of this book, which is the last section of the book, Patience Rambe and his co-author delve into the impact of 4IR technologies in relation to how they affect entrepreneurial growth and development in Africa. So they are careful to look at things like artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, robotics, and how these interventions and these technological innovations are shaping venture creation and technology commercialization in emerging economies. So this is a very, very, very fascinating chapter, particularly in relation to the era we now operate in. Then the chapter by Judith and Nonso Ochinawata investigates digital platforms and their effect on SMEs. They conclude in that chapter that digital adoption can be a great equalizer if supported by infrastructure, skills training, and policy alignment. What that means is that African governments must create calculated interventions to make entrepreneurs digitally aware. Now, this book closes by threading together all the things I've discussed and proposes theoretical, policy, and managerial implications for moving the entrepreneurship agenda forward in Africa. The chapters are co-authored by multidisciplinary teams that end up creating a manifesto for entrepreneurial development in Africa. So please, if you are watching this show and you're a policymaker in the entrepreneurial space, get a copy of this book. If you're an entrepreneur working in Africa, there are lessons here for taking your entrepreneurship businesses forward. And finally, for educators, this book gives you some ideas on how to develop relevant entrepreneurship curricula so that you create students who will go out and push the entrepreneurial agenda forward in Africa. Thank you for listening to this monologue. We'll be right back with more of Titans and Trailblazers. Thank you.
MGL Logistics and Supply is your trusted partner, providing seamless solutions for all your procurement needs. From sourcing products to managing imports and exports, we ensure smooth and efficient transactions every step of the way. Whether you require goods from across the globe or need assistance in exporting your products to international markets, we got you covered. General trading is at the heart of our expertise. We specialize in a wide range of products, catering to various industries and markets. As a trusted dealership in building materials, we provide high-quality products that meet the demands of our construction projects. Additionally, we act as manufacturers' representatives, connecting producers with distributors. Our expertise in logistics is the backbone of our operations. We plan and execute transportation and delivery of goods, ensuring they reach their destination on time and in optimal condition. MGO Logistics and Supply, guaranteed satisfaction.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. With MNC Properties, property sales, rentals, and management is a walk in the park. We believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy, specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 to 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We offer flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs, plus litigation-free lands in vibrant and upscale communities that presents the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 0302 551 917. MNC Properties, choice of class.
The National Sanitation Day is with us again. The Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy and Religious Affairs, in collaboration with the Jospon Group of Companies, organized the National Sanitation Day, and this is going to be held every first Saturday of the month. And I appeal to our chiefs and traditional leaders to join this project. As you already are aware, our traditional leaders are the custodians of the land, and when they are part of this project, is going to urge the citizenry to also take up the mantle of keeping the environment clean. Also, we appeal to the various leaders, the Market Women Association, the Queen Mothers Association, the GPRTU, the ProTour, that everybody should come on board to help clean our environment and make sure that we live in a healthy lifestyle. Thank you very much.
Welcome back to Titans and Trailblazers, and today I have a very cool person in the studio. She's my friend, she's my very good friend, and we are going to discuss something that is very dear to my heart, because we live in an Africa that can only get better, and you see why it's crucial we discuss these matters when we get to the meat of the issue. So today I want to introduce to you Madam Mrs. Anyele Pebi, the wife of the famous Dr. Pebi, the daughter of the famous Professor Sowa, the sister of the famous Niampa Sowa. Very famous woman. Nelia, welcome to the show.
Thank you so much, Prof.
So you say you are listening to Bassi now.
Yes.
And then you do Jesus.
Yes, I am.
Please play more so that we can sing for 2 seconds. What was impossible, you made possible. Jesus Okay. So, what was impossible, Jesus made possible. Yes. So let's start from that. Are you a Christian?
I am.
Okay. How long have you been a Christian for, Madam?
I gave my life to Jesus around the age of 13.
13.
And have continuously been discipled since then. And my faith in Christ and his finished work on the cross is the center of my entire life.
It's resolute. It's total.
Total.
It underpins everything you do.
Everything.
Okay, so please tell us where you were born, what school you went to, primary school, before 13, after 13. Just walk us through Anyele from birth to now.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So I'm privileged to be the only daughter actually of my parents. I have 2 brothers, and I was incidentally born in Hamilton, Ontario, in Canada.
No, but apart from Niampa, who's your other brother?
I have another brother, Ni Aku.
Ni Aku?
Yes.
Is he cool like Ni Ampa?
Oh, he's very cool
Okay,
also.
okay, all right. Go ahead, yes, please.
Yes, and so my father is an economist by training. My mother is an accountant, and my father did his PhD in McMaster University in Canada.
McMaster,
and
yes.
while he was doing his PhD, I came around. So I was born there, but I grew up in Ghana.
Okay.
As soon as he finished, he came to Ghana, and I grew up in a family that loves reading. I actually was surrounded by books. And my parents, my grandparents even had books. And so I grew up seeing books that were very old and enjoying the reading process. I went to school at University Primary, currently University Basic School, Legon campus. And we also had quite a reading culture there. But then again, it was that era where when you're coming from school, there's nothing else to do but to play or to read.
Absolutely.
Because, GBC radio closed at 2 p.m. And you had to wait till evening to watch everything from talking points to, there were not many options, so reading was a good alternative.
Yes.
And from University Primary School, I went to Wesley Girls High School.
Correct.
Where I read general arts, and then from there proceeded to University of Ghana, and I studied economics. And
what hall were you in?
I was in Volta Hall.
The famous Volta Hall.
The famous Volta Hall.
Okay, all right, I'm listening.
Yes, and so from Volta Hall, University of Ghana. So I also did a diploma in statistics at the same time, though.
Okay.
And so I ended with my economics degree, and then a couple of years later I did a master's in economics in McGill University in Canada.
Okay. So when you were studying for the master's in Canada, were you married at that time?
I was already married, and I already had a son, actually.
Oh, really?
Yes.
So when did you find that Chimota school man that you married? It's important I say that to her so that we understand where he came from.
Okay. So my husband and I actually met very young. His mom is a professor of history. And so we attended the same church from when I was in Sunday school, and he was just about youth fellowship, I believe. And so our families have known each other for quite a while. But it was actually when we got to university and I was in third year that we got closer. And then, so after I finished my national service, we got married.
Okay. National service?
Yes.
Then you got married?
Yes.
Okay. Did he love reading too?
Yes, actually he loves reading, but he grew to love reading later on. I grew up, like from childhood, I loved reading, but I think he was a teen by the time he realized the importance of books. Yeah.
So, how did your family background influence your career and the vision you carry today in terms of this whole Pepper Cup? We'll get to that later, but how I know you did books and you grew up around books, and books were a blessing to you, but is there any link between that background and what has influenced your career and vision today?
Yes, so a very strong link, and we are products of our experiences and opportunities that we receive. And so from a young age, being surrounded by books being prioritized, books reading being encouraged, it's really influenced how I grew up. And my dad used to take us to university bookshop every month to try and get us a few books. He would get us 4 books for the month, and the following day we would say we finished reading the books, can he buy some more? And so we grew up reading quite a lot, and that was a blessing. Also the school we went to, University Primary, had a reading comprehension program and a lot of books we could read at that time. So that kind of shaped us. And I was speaking with, several colleagues who we grew up with, and that shaped us. And besides that, though, growing up, and seeing that, when you read a lot, it enables you to clearly articulate your thoughts.
It does.
And to communicate effectively.
It does.
And even when you have colleagues who have, reached the same level as you have, but perhaps you don't get the opportunity to read a lot, it affects the way they communicate. And kind of sometimes can be a limitation.
There are some grammatical shorts when they speak.
Yes, subjects, verb agreements, and grammatical errors.
You know what's most traumatic? When they have PhDs on top. Wow.
Yes.
I mean, sometimes I hear someone speak on TV, doctor. And the grammatical errors, so I have to check which doctor is this one. And it's so profound to the extent that your verbal communication quality can make or unmake you.
Yes.
In very profound ways.
In very profound ways.
And so sometimes I feel as if those PhDs must go back and go and start again.
Well.
And learn first companion and first aid in English. And I don't know, like it's so profound. Like,
yes, it is.
It's a challenge.
It is. So I realized that reading a lot is very impactful in the life of an individual. So as our family grew, my husband and I have only 7 children.
7?
Only 7 children.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Wow.
And so we had the opportunity to stay, after my master's, we continued to stay in Montreal. We stayed across a public library with 100,000 books and encouraged our children to read. And they had the blessing of having access to any book they wanted to read, literally speaking, different, subject areas and genres, and that greatly influenced our children's upbringing from the little ones. And so that's seeing the impact on my little ones as well, was the other part. So my family of orientation gave me a background in reading.
Correct.
And seeing the impact on my family of procreation enabled me to really have a strong passion for getting children to read. And so at some point, realizing how seriously low our literacy levels are in Africa, became a driving passion, a calling, in fact, to try and do something about it. So I think just generally the background I grew up in, plus the experience I had with my own children, shaped and influenced Baby Cubs.
So let's talk about reading in Africa, issues around literacy levels, and the absolute essence of rebuilding a reading culture. Because you see, going to school is not reading. I mean, when I was growing up, my father used to throw me into the Central Library in Accra, and way back from Richard School, reading was like a life and death matter for me. From Hardy Boys to Nancy Drew to this to Enid Blyton. I mean, you almost read as if it was part of the air you breathed.
Exactly.
And it was, I mean, I think everything I am today has to do with the fact that I learned that reading is a life and death matter very early.
Yes.
I still remember idiomatic expressions like bats in the belfry. I mean, like, if you're eccentric, you're bats in the belfry. If I say bat, look, I remember I was in a video and I used an idiom. The person said, I don't know that one. I said, oh, okay. And I moved on gently because I wasn't about to explain.
Yeah.
So tell me about the reading in Africa and what the situation is today and what needs to be done from a child development perspective.
Yes, so according to the World Bank in 2022, 89% of children in sub-Saharan Africa cannot read and understand a simple story by the age of 10.
Wow.
And that is very serious because reading is foundational to all other learning in school.
Yes, please.
And by the age of 10, you should have learned to read so that thereafter you can read to learn.
Yes, please.
You figured out how to, read very fluently, and then you can begin to learn issues like solar system and life cycle of any photosynthesis.
Yes,
when you can't read by the age of 10, even if you are smart as Einstein, you are severely limited in what you can grow up to be. And so that is the state of literacy in our continent. And there are several root causes. It's a wicked problem, with many interacting root causes, such as not having adequate access to reading material,
Correct.
And also problems perhaps in instruction at some levels. And then very large class sizes when children are supposed to be learning to read and you're in a class of about 60, it affects you. And then the pervasive one being a general lack of appreciation for reading in our culture. So reading is considered a chore, or a bore, a necessary evil, or a punishment.
But sorry, I'll let you go. But that is the part that blows my mind because, like, I love reading. Like, look, so when you wake up at 4 and have your quiet time, you are reading. By the time you go and work out and you come back, you are consuming something again.
Exactly.
I mean, like, you consume words and messages and I don't know. Sorry, but I think reading is life. So
yes, reading is
how
life.
it became a chore, it always...
Well, anything that you do not know how to do very well, that you are supposed to do, you already have a way of trying to avoid it.
Indeed.
Because you are not very good at it. And so that is an issue people face that is exacerbated by the fact that they don't get encouraged. And so at some point in time when a child is not reading fluently and they don't get encouraged, they buy the story that they are not smart enough. And it becomes a vicious cycle where they don't put in enough efforts, they avoid reading, and then they are not reading well enough, and that just compounds into a problem where then they just give up, and so that issue of reading is a chore, reading is a bore, is a fundamental reason why a lot of children don't put a lot of effort into it. And there's a saying that if you want to hide something from a black person, put it in a book. And that statement seems so offensive. But are
parents reading themselves? Parents, are they also reading?
Parents are not reading.
No, because...
Parents are not reading. And the problem is worse now because we have alternatives. You know, social media is quite engaging. There are lots of videos. You hardly need to read. You know, you just keep scrolling, keep watching.
Wow.
And so a lot of people are not growing up where they have to read something to learn information. And it's just, you know, it's so easy to get entertained for hours on end by scrolling. And so that becomes an issue.
So we have the blessing and the curse of AI and all sorts of things around robotics, Internet of Things. It's like everything now is tech. So it's almost as if you don't need to think anymore and you don't need to write anymore. AI will write for you, AI will produce for you. But I found by experience that sometimes AI tools can throw out absolute garbage.
Oh, yes.
So if you don't have a clear sense of what it is that the final output should look like, you will actually embarrass yourself even though you have an AI tool. So even in an AI age, isn't reading still important, or appreciation of text, things like that? Reading
is even more important.
Okay.
You know, because as you're saying, interestingly, I was discussing this with my father yesterday.
Correct.
You know, the AI, you need to know what you want it to give you and be able to prompt it accurately. And so if you are just approaching it, you know, expecting it to do the work for you, you end up with something that, as you said, will quite embarrass you, you know. So AI doesn't
Sorry to cut you. Sorry to cut you. So I did an experiment about 3 weeks ago. Sunday after church, I was feeling very adventurous. So I went to acquire an AI tool called Rocket Writer or something, and the tool is supposed to help you produce full books.
Hey.
Oh, you hold on the A part, I'm coming. So since I'm a book writing, book editing veteran, I know what a good book should look like. So I now want to give it one topic. Madam, for $19, the crap the thing produced, I nearly collapsed. And I was sitting there thinking, Professor is say $19 disaster. And I was thinking to myself, oh, Bob. And I was thinking to myself, how many people would go use that AI to produce crap, put their name on it, steal the material, and say, hey, I have a book. Then the book will embarrass you for as long as you live.
Yes.
So you need to know what you're looking for.
You need to know what you're looking for. It's the ability to think critically and to actually discern what you want to accomplish is even more important in the AI age. AI is excellent for assisting you, but not actually replacing you when it comes to thinking. Yes.
So Ghana is in reset mode. We've had this famous education forum or dialogue where we are trying to sort of fix everything. Reading is still a challenge in Ghana.
It is.
So what is Pebi Caps doing to ameliorate the situation or sort of get people to do better? Share with us the Pebi Cap model. What's going on there?
Okay, so Pebi Caps is an edtech that offers a fun, evidence-based, cost-effective literacy program.
Is this your edtech? You know, some people don't understand edtech.
Edtech.
Okay. Technology.
Yes, it's an education technology company.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
That offers a fun, evidence-based, cost-effective literacy program that empowers, especially children, to succeed by becoming proficient readers. So reading is literally the infrastructure for all other learning, or for schooling, actually. And we all know that infrastructure is important for development. You know, if you haven't built the foundation, you can't build on top of anything solid. You know? And so, Pebi Caps, what we offer is a platform that's kind of like a Netflix of books for children, but with underlying evidence to get them better at reading. And the fact that it's an educational technology platform means that children literally across the country can access it simultaneously and have access to very good books, thousands of books that enable them to get better at reading. Yes, and so that's what we offer. But we don't do it only, it's not just a platform. We also offer a number of activities that go with it, an inter-school reading quiz, a medallion program. Because as we've said, reading is something which children consider to be a chore and a bore, so there has to be a behavioral change aspect around it. So for us, reading has to be fun. If it's not fun, we don't do it. We don't do boring. And that draws in children to actually explore reading. And a lot of them find that they actually get very intrigued by the books they are reading and build a habit of reading. So that's what we are all about. Now, when it comes to where we are as Ghana, just like the rest of the world, we are enamored with all these wonderful tools we have, you know, AI and robotics and coding and STEM, and you know, we want our children to get, you know, all access to all of these things. And why not? You know, this is the 21st century. But just like you can't have a STEM without roots, Similarly, STEM education without reading becomes a challenge.
Please say it that way. The STEM without, it sounds very nice. You say,
yes.
I can quote it later. So repeat that again.
So just like you can't have a STEM without roots of
Absolutely.
a plant, you also shouldn't be doing STEM education without having tackled the foundation, which is reading.
100%.
Because even for science, technology, engineering, or math, you need to be able to read to be able to actually make sense of what you want to do.
Absolutely.
You know? And so we are working on the foundations. It's not the most exciting. They always say working on literacy. Oh, you should be like coding or AI tools or whatever. But the foundation, once tackled, means that we can then build on top of that.
You know what's interesting? I'll come back to you on this issue of science, math, engineering, having good reading roots.
Yes.
Right after this. Thank you for staying with Titans and Trailblazers. We'll be back again very soon with more of Mrs. Anyele Pebi. Stay tuned.
Finding the ideal property shouldn't be a daunting task. With MNC Properties, property sales, rentals, and management is a walk in the park. We believe everyone deserves a place to call home. That's why we specialize in providing affordable housing options under our flagship project, Fresh Property Joy, specifically designed for low and medium income earners. Our range of customizable homes includes 2 to 3 bedroom standard and executive options, all meticulously crafted using innovative interlocking brick technology. We offer flexible payment options tailored to your individual needs, plus litigation-free lands in vibrant and upscale communities that presents the perfect opportunity to build your dream home. We are committed to making affordable housing a reality. Whether you're looking to buy, rent, or invest, we've got you covered. Our service team is ready to assist you on 0302 551 917. MNC Properties, choice of class.
Divine Yao Aijwe is my name. I'm the director in charge of research, statistics, information management of the Ministry of Local Government, Chieftaincy, and Religious Affairs. As we await the big announcement in May 2025 of His Excellency John Dramani Mahama on the need for National Sanitation Day and sustaining the process, we are hoping that Ghanaians together will help clean our homes and our environments for a better future for this country. Also preventing cholera and attracting the best tourist attraction to our beaches, because as I pass by, the deep blue sea is becoming brown. And as I travel to Lusaka, Zambia, I travel to Cote d'Ivoire, Abidjan, I travel to Abuja, Nigeria, I travel to Nairobi, Kenya. We can do better as Ghanaians. We need to clean our environment so that we can also attract the best tourists to our beaches and earn some currency to improve our economy for the years to come. I hope that this call is a call to duty that will help cleaning our homes, and then to our communities and to our cities and the whole country. I hope that this call will be heeded to help our country look better in the community of nations. Thank you.
Welcome back to Titans and Trailblazers. And whilst we're on the break, my production team told me to tell, this is the first time, it's how I should tell my guest She has the most beautiful smile on earth. We have nothing to do with me. That's what the production team says I should say. And I was telling her that the Bible says a merry heart, it does good like medicine.
It does.
And if you want to live long in Africa, you have to smile a lot so that the blessing will come.
Amen.
So madam, we are doing the right thing.
Amen.
Keep smiling. Yes.
Thank you.
I will. So we are back on science and history and geography and art. And I think there's a myth sometimes that, these things, they are writing subjects. You know me, I don't do writing subjects. So I like figures and calculations. And I tell everybody I meet that, look, if you take the marketing academy, people like Philip Kotler, who is 90 plus years, their PhDs were in chemistry and maths and engineering. Look, the biggest marketing, the older marketing schools in America, they came from STEM. So I want you to give us a perspective on this myth that if you want to do reading subject, then you must learn to read. But if you like calculations, then reading is not a life and death matter. What are your thoughts, madam?
Well, you know, the thing is, mathematics and mathematical subjects have various streams. And the higher you go, the more you realize that you need to actually be able to understand language and read and understand the question to be able to frame your answer. It's not just a matter of arithmetics where you're, calculating this plus that, And so the research is actually very clear that children who enjoy reading between the age of 10 and 16 do better in STEM subjects than children who don't. And even goes as far as saying that if you want a child who reads more, does better in science than even they had extra classes for science.
Wow.
Exactly. So
yes, that's very profound.
That is very profound,
wow.
And that's because reading just builds your background knowledge.
It does.
And so having a wide database of background knowledge, you become like a junior ChatGPT.
Very much.
Where your brain is making all kinds of connections with the material you're reading.
And cross-fertilizing stuff.
Exactly.
You can see trends and angles where nobody can see them because...
Precisely.
Wow.
Yes. So that is it when it comes to STEM education. But beyond even understanding questions and being able to kind of grasp the material, to be able to communicate, at the higher you go, you get a PhD, your findings, and you need to be able to have a good command of the language in which you're communicating. Therefore, you must read to get that excellent command of the English language.
Let me segue from even school to business, and I've been in marketing for nearly 3 decades, and I tell everybody that when you write a proposal, it should be so compelling. The readers should go, oh, damn, who wrote this? Then when you show up and you present, they're like, oh, wow, it's you. And then you get the job. And I've seen that play out on countless occasions. So how people don't get the fact that reading and writing well is indispensable to business success is totally lost on me. I don't know. Can you give us some success stories or case studies of how Peppy Cups is changing some children's lives at least? What was going on with that?
I have quite a number of success stories for you. So starting from, let me pick during the COVID era. When the announcement was made, fellow Ghanaians that will sit at home for 2 weeks.
Indeed.
That we were all quite confused, didn't know what to do. And definitely some schools that didn't even have email addresses at the time could not pivot and offer anything to the children. So when Peppy Cups began to offer our online community of readers, we had over 1,000 children participate in the year 2020 during COVID time. Now, one girl had the opportunity during this time. She was at that time, I think 10 years old, and she had the opportunity to read within that period of confusion, of turmoil, of not knowing what to do. She had the opportunity through Peppy Cups to read 1,000 books.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Oh, wow.
1,000 books.
Oh, wow.
And she went from there to take part in the spelling bee, and she's actually written a book and published a book at the age of 30.
No way.
Yes. Saying that having been given the opportunity to read as many as 1,000 books through our online program, that gave her the confidence to know that whatever she sets her mind to, she can do it. And so she set her mind to, going to the spelling bee, winning the spelling bee, and she actually went as far as the semi-finals in the US in the international school spelling bee. The only African in her year to get that far. Exactly.
No way.
That is a wonderful story of Michelle Kuma, who was 13 and wrote a book telling about her experience, starting with Peppy Cups. But I also want to say that she
has she gone to Wesley Girls or Achimota? I don't know where she is right now.
She's currently not at secondary school yet.
Okay, all right, you go on.
Yes.
But we are giving inclinations if the parents are watching.
Yes, yeah. Well, her mother was a Wesley girl, so it explains why.
That we are settled. You continue.
Yes, but you know, Michelle already had the opportunity to read books, and we just enabled her to read much more than she would have been able to during COVID. But what warms my heart are stories within Pebby Cups of children who did not like reading and who were branded as not being smart, and especially little boys. There's a saying that boys don't like reading, but we found in Pebby Cups that's not true, because it turns out that most of the time when a child is said to not like reading is because they are giving them material they don't enjoy reading.
That's
they
true.
like sports and giving them books on princess, you know, so they actually, you know, are able to find books that they love reading in Pebby Cups and learn to read. This year, Pebby Cups was able to extend our reach beyond Accra to the rest of the country.
Indeed.
And last week, I just came back from a trip across the country, went from Accra to Cape Coast, to Takwa, to Kumasi, Birisonyani, Tamale, Navrongo, Wa, and Ho, actually meeting some of our readers.
Really?
Yes.
Like an evangelist?
Like an evangelist.
Come on.
So the past 5 months, we've had children all over the country reading books on Pebby Cups to be part of the inter-school reading quiz. And so traveling around the country, you see many success stories. You see children in the Upper West who are far away being able to access and read 300 books in a period of 5 months.
Really?
In a period of 5 months, and being able to be as articulate as children, not just in Accra, but children in, I guess, London or Texas.
Absolutely.
You know. And so our success stories, the fact that we've been able to give children who are in otherwise remote communities, you know, as far as Navrongo, as far as Wa, you know, as far as, you know, Takwa, you know, access to the same books that children across the world have been able to access, and therefore empower them to think critically, empower them to communicate effectively, empower them to be self-confident and to approach school with a different attitude. Those are our success stories. We have tons of them.
That's very profound. Like, so be able to read well becomes an equalizer. I mean, you can step up quickly and start competing.
You can definitely do so. And
doesn't matter where you're from.
At all. And the interesting thing was these children came from the top 50 schools that had read since between October and February. And these top 50 schools were then shortlisted to top 32 schools based on their reading results. And so they came to have an inter-school reading quiz in Accra just this past Thursday and Friday. And you would have schools from as far as Navrongo competing schools in Accra and Kumasi, and you know, and you see that the reading and the voracious reading is really an equalizer, because these schools stood their ground, they held their own, and were able to now progress into the round of 16, where they were not in any way disadvantaged because they came from very far away from, you know, the major capital city.
Do you know that as soon as you can speak well, I start gravitating towards you? Like, I don't know how that happens, but in any meeting, let's say I was in a meeting with some people, and there's this lady who's a daughter of a friend of mine. She studied law in the UK. She now wants to set up a marketing agency. So the mom goes, Bob, you know, you're the marketing guy. So, and I'm chatting with this lady, and her understanding of the issues are so profound. I get the sense with just a little push, you'll be fine. And I get the sense just because she understands the issue, she's ready to go. Listen, Madam Anyele, how should we get the world to come and support this Pebby Cup vision? What kind of resources do we need? What are your plans 3 to 5 years from now? How do you want to scale? Do you want to become a multinational brand? What's the plan, Madam?
Very good question. So Pebby Cups currently, we've impacted about 20,000 children across the country, but we have big plans. Our goal in the next 3 years is to scale to get 1 million active readers.
Wow.
Across Ghana, but also in other parts of Africa, and thereafter to actually tackle the literacy problem head on. And we would love to change the statistic from 9 out of 10 not being able to read and understand a simple story to 9 out of 10 can read and understand a simple story by the age of 10. And that is our goal in Pebby Cups. Our vision is literally every family successful through a vibrant culture of reading. And this is based on the research that the love for reading is a stronger indicator of a child's success in school and their future career than even their parents' level of education or socioeconomic status.
Just doing well in life. I mean,
exactly.
I just feel like your life is better because
your life is better. And many people who are successful now, there are some exceptions to that, to the rule, but many people who are successful now, it's because at some point either they themselves or their parents or grandparents had the opportunity to be educated and to read a lot. And so we want to empower every family to be successful through a vibrant culture of reading. So we are looking for partners.
How many? $3 million partners, $10 million. What are you looking for?
Tell
the people,
$10 million.
we want to find resources to keep this dream alive and to make it something that changes the African narrative. Because when all is said and done, it's the children who are taking over.
Exactly.
So if we don't have a conscious program to build their reading culture, we are in trouble.
Yes,
so
that is true.
What do you want? How much do you want? Maybe there's one rich man watching, maybe in Tanzania or in Abilengbe. You never know.
Never know.
So what kind of investments are you looking for in terms of the scaling? Do we want 100 public cup infrastructural setups across the country? Do we want, what do you want?
So Pebi Cubs is looking for partnerships, so very strong partnerships with both regulators and key decision makers, but as well with corporate institutions. Many corporate institutions have as their CSR SDG 4, Sustainable Development Goal 4, which
Correct.
is quality education. Now
Yes.
4.1.1a is literacy, foundational literacy skills. Without literacy, you can't have
So
a
that's where you
education.
fit.
That is exactly where we fit. So any and every corporate institution that actually wants to make a difference and wants to start by building a strong foundation for a quality education, we are looking forward to partnering with you. This problem is so vast that we actually need a lot of resources and a concerted effort and partnerships. Partnerships are the core of any great impact, and so we are looking at corporate institutions coming along to partner. There are many foundations and international NGOs that also work in the SDG 4 space, and we need the expertise there. We need also the funding, of course, to be able to not just offer the service we currently do, but to be able to go deeper and research more and implement more features in our program that actually engage children to read more. The success we've seen with just a few thousand children to about 20,000 children, we need to see that success for 20 million children, for 200 million children, because in Africa, over 400 million children actually suffer from having very poor literacy skills.
Wow.
And that must be eradicated. And so any partner, Richmond Nabelempi,
Yes.
Richmond in Lagos,
Correct.
come alongside us and let's make this happen. Now, Pebi Cubs is passionate about this being a sustainable solution. And so we have a model where those who can afford to pay a subscription fee. Now, parents, the research is clear that if you want what is best for your child or for them to succeed in school and beyond, they need to be able to read, and not just read, but love reading. And we come alongside parents to make that happen. So for our sustainable model, parents pay a subscription fee, and their children are logged onto our program and grow to become proficient readers. Now, for children who are from underprivileged backgrounds, and then we work with the donors and we work with partners to make sure that we can actually have their service subsidized or fully paid for them to participate in the reading program. And so one of our reasons why we do the sustainable model is because we don't want to end up being overly reliant on external funding, which usually comes with a fixed time frame for the program to be held, and then, or we don't want to have ourselves in the case where the funder decides to just close shop, as we've seen happen recently.
Absolutely.
And then the problem still persists.
That's true.
And so for anybody who wants to actually see this problem solved, we are working on a model that will actually solve the problem beyond having donors and partners. But we do need the donors and partners now to actually gain traction to solve this problem.
So if every Ghana Club 100 company gave you $1 million, that's 100 million in the bag.
That's 100
we'll
million.
We'll be on our way.
We'll be on our way. They should come alongside.
I mean, we'll change something.
We'll change a lot. We'll
Please.
change the continent. Give us 10 years to have children who read and read consistently. In 10 years' time, these children will be in university. They will finish university. They'll start working. And then Ghana Club 100, I know the situation in Ghana where you have people who have a degree and they come out and their critical thinking skills and other skills and soft skills you need for the workforce, they don't have them because they barely educated themselves beyond their schooling. And so when you have a lot of readers, you are able to actually have people who can think critically and actually execute things that will help the business grow. So in the long term, it actually affects how businesses are run as well, by having a workforce that not just memorizes and regurgitates, but actually can think critically and solve problems in the workplace.
So the current CEO of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center was my student 20 years ago.
Okay,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to meeting.
Yes, so I'm telling him right now, Simon, please, if you can tell your Ghana Club 100 investors to put just $1 million cedis each into our Pebi Cub venture, we'll be on our way to changing something.
Yes.
And causing a fundamental shift in our reading propensities, and therefore building a resilient Ghana and resetting it in the most positive ways. So please tell me about your time at the Wesley Girls High School. Since you have a Wesley Girls Vice President, did you enjoy your Wesley Girls days?
Oh, I loved Wesley Girls.
Really?
Yes,
And you still keep in touch with some of them? Wesley Girls, they have money. They should also bring 10 million. So we'll get 100 from Simon, 10 million from Wesley Girls. But tell me about your secondary school days and what key lessons helped to form into the woman or lady you are today.
I have to admit, it was a real privilege to have gone to Wesley Girls.
Indeed.
Wesley Girls is an excellent school. And one thing about Wesley Girls is, apart from having a strong Christian foundation, also is a very disciplined.
It's a Methodist foundation. Yeah, like your Fansman school.
Yes,
okay.
but it is the Wesley Girls is older. You know, it was started in 1837.
And that's to the Fansman boys, right?
Yes.
Please, it's older. You can go on.
Yes, Wesley Girls is very disciplined, and I think that helped to shape a lot of us. And
Indeed.
The discipline, you know, daily discipline, you know, actually helped to shape how.
Hold on. I'm sorry to cut you. You see, that thing you just said, daily discipline.
Yes.
That's where the blessing is.
Yes.
I think discipline that is bolted down into daily routines.
Exactly.
It's proper discipline.
Exactly.
It's not a monthly checkup, but
no.
You have a routine you follow which is positive and helps to form character.
Exactly.
Please go on daily discipline. Yes.
And so those daily disciplines help to frame us, frame the way we see the world, you know, and so when you meet someone from Wesley Girls, I'm sure you've noticed that we do things a particular way. And sometimes, I mean, people would say we're a little bit fussy, but that's not the case. It's because we're taught that there's a right way to do things, and if you do things in an organized way, you get better results. It was a lot of fun also, builds great friendships, a lot of friends that currently interact with, and it's wonderful to see all of us making a difference wherever we find ourselves.
So you have the blessing of having 7 children.
Only 7 children.
Who you hope will become 7 world beaters.
Oh yes.
Awesome.
Amen.
Okay. So let's talk about other children of the continent and 3 critical pieces of advice you give to those who are preteen, those who are teen, and those who are finishing their university and going to the world of work. So 3 categories: preteen, teen, and then fresh graduates.
Okay.
Yes, please.
Well, let me just give first of all blanket advice that you need to read.
That is it. That's a given.
That is a given.
Even old professors must read.
Even old professors must read, yes. So that's the first blanket one. It goes to every age group. We need to keep reading and keep upgrading ourselves, and that I think would continue to build our capacity to execute greater ideas, you know, on the continent. Now, preteen, the future is bright. There's no other generation that has, you know, this preteen is probably Gen Alpha, I believe. And Gen Alpha has been born into a world that already has AI and, you know, technology and fast internet, and they are used to that, you know, and the world is literally an amazing place for Gen AI. And I want to say that I believe that gives them opportunity to solve problems.
Indeed.
And so even for a preteen, begin to think about solving problems. When you read, look at the problems around you. There are opportunities for innovation and excellence.
That's it.
Every single problem around you. So I'll say that's to preteens.
Okay. They have tools.
Yes.
So they should go wild.
They should go wild.
Okay.
They should dazzle us with their brilliance.
Totally concur.
Yes. And for those in university or those
the teens first.
The teens.
These 14-year-olds, 17-year-olds who are trusting God to navigate relationships and do the right thing, yes.
So there's a time and a season for everything, you know, and I think as a teen, this can be quite a period where you think you've already arrived, you know, and you figured out the world, but there's still a lot to come. And so I would say that actually look for mentors who can speak into your life. Be humble enough to look for people who you admire, people who you think can pour into your life, and get close to them, because they know a bit more, or actually a lot more than your friends do, and they can actually guide you to become successful in the future.
Okay. Last word on the fresh graduates. What should they do? And we'll close on that.
Fresh graduates, we are blessed to be Ghanaians. We are blessed to be Africans. And while the fresh graduate I know wants to travel outside the country, yes, it's a good opportunity to grow and to learn, but this is our land. Our problems won't go away overnight, but once we are resilient and we are focused, we can solve them day by day. So look around you, decide to be entrepreneurial, decide to actually start things, partner, and make impact where you are, even as a young graduate.
So you
But
studied...
I would like to end by saying
No,
that...
no, actually we have more time. Because it's you, my production team says, let her flow. Let her flow, yes.
I wanted to give the last blanket advice.
Go ahead.
Which was that we are created by God.
Indeed.
And God has a purpose and a plan for each of our lives.
I believe it.
So I want to encourage everyone, whether you're preteen, you're a teen, or you're a young person, to seek first your Creator in the days of your youth.
Amen.
You know, and He would order your steps according to His word. He will take your spiritual gifts, your passions, your talents, your abilities, your experiences, and put them together and shape something beautiful out of you.
So I was going to go to economics now,
Okay.
because you got a first class in economics, and
Yes.
sometimes when you take those differentiation curves and you are wondering, this thing really
Constraint optimization.
I'm telling you, madam, I don't know what the curves want to meet or they don't want to meet. And I think economics, you know, marketing came from economics, finance came from economics. So for somebody studying economics at the University of Ghana today, what, in your estimation, could open up to them when they finish their BSc in economics and got a first class like you?
Well, you know, an undergrad really is to position you to know how to think and solve problems. That is the optimal way to use an undergrad. And an undergraduate degree in economics actually opens up a lot of opportunities up for you, either in finance or accounting or marketing. It gives you the opportunity to see how to... Economics is all about constraint optimization. Like, how do you maximize what you want to attain, your results or your returns, you know, with constrained resources, you know. And so it gives you a way of thinking, of looking at what you have in your hand, what you want to do, and how to get the best out of it. And that is applicable to literally any field you find yourself in. So the world is out there, and there's a lot of opportunity for anyone studying economics. And that goes also for most disciplines, especially when you study and understand the discipline and don't seek to just pass exams to get a degree.
Okay. So I know a lot of economics undergrad students who go on study finance in particular. It seems like a very cool option for them. But I know economists who also become the best marketers on earth. So I guess whilst your advice is useful, how do people with economics also go into entrepreneurial businesses, like they decide to set up on their own? What kind of foundation can an economics degree give you if you want to start your own business, in your estimation?
Well, I mean, so you will learn as an economist how to, as I said, optimize your results.
Exactly.
Using the resources you have. And that is fundamental to being an entrepreneur. You don't have unlimited resources. Resources are scarce, and you want to achieve a particular thing. So you need to look at, you know, draw a scale of preference,
Indeed.
you know, and look at how you would minimize your opportunity costs, and how can you actually accomplish your goals. So an undergraduate in economics is very good in helping you to define how your business should operate and to look at your business strategy and goals in order to accomplish your goals.
On libraries.
Yes.
Are brick and mortar libraries better than digital libraries, or do they all have a role to play in bridging this literacy gap we face as a continent?
They are both essential. When somebody is well read and very articulate, nobody's asking, did you read digital books or you read hard copy books? You know, the value is in what you are able to attain or learn from the book, not in the format of the book.
Okay.
And so in places where there are already, you know, brick and mortar libraries and somebody has donated books, you know, there are many organizations or foundations that give hard copy books to schools and rural areas. Those are important resources to also build literacy. And that said, the opportunity we have now to have internet in most parts of the country,
yes,
you know, and to actually also have access to a lot of resources through the internet, means that we can scale our solution for literacy much faster than if we use brick and mortar.
Okay.
So since time was of essence, I would say both are essential to actually have synergy to solve the problem of literacy.
Okay. I'm aware that your famous husband, Dr. Pebi, who studied in Achimota School, has been a great supporter of the Pebi Camp's vision. So I want you to say a few final words to eulogize him and tell him I'd like him to also come and share his fascinating story with us when he can find the time. So how has Yao been a blessing?
Oh, he's been a real blessing. You know, the Bible says one will chase 1,000, two will chase 10,000.
There you go.
And
there you go.
He's been an amazing blessing. It's not every gentleman who would actually buy into the vision of the calling that their wife has. He's a co-founder of Pebi Cups and has supported with his wisdom, his resources, his connections, his expertise in every way to make sure that Pebi Cups would grow, because we see it's not just as something we are doing, we see it as a calling. A calling, not a calling that we won't let go of, but a calling that doesn't seem to let go of us.
That is it.
And so he's been extremely supportive. I want to commend him and to celebrate him, because many people know him as somebody who is a great speaker, a leadership expert, and what they don't know about him is that he's very supportive.
Yes, please.
He's very kind. He's very sacrificial to actually enable the vision to grow, and I deeply appreciate him for that.
Thank you. On that sacrificial, appreciative note, I want to thank you for joining us on this excellent edition of Titans and Trailblazers. Anyele said one will put to flight 1,000, 2, 10,000. So please get ready for 10,000 movements. And please, the sponsors, the benefactors, we need you. Come and support this vision, and let's take Pebi Cups forward. Anyele, thanks for coming.
Thank you so much for having me, Prof. Thank you.
God bless
you too, Prof.
Bye. So bye-bye on this edition. See you again on the next edition of Titans and Trailblazers. Bye.
Titans and Trailblazers is brought to you by the MNC Group.
Metro TV, insightful and inspiring moments.